In this session, we will talk about motion under gravity. Now, from our daily experiences, we can say that if we leave some body mid-air, then it will eventually come down towards the ground. So we say the body has fallen. So let's say we drop it from some height h. Now this downward motion is uniformly accelerated motion, and the acceleration is equal to, it is denoted by g, and it is equal to 9.8 meter per second square. So what is the reason of this acceleration? This is because of the Earth's gravitational pull. So because of this Earth's gravitational pull, this body is pulled towards the ground with this acceleration. Now this acceleration's value can be sometimes taken as 10 meter per second square. So in order to make some problem simple, we can use g to be 10 meter per second square. Now if I consider this falling body and neglect the air resistance, then we can denote this body as a freely falling body. And this g that we have taken over here, 9.8 meter per second square, is the value which is to be considered only if these heights h are very less than the radius of the earth. So g is 9.8, that is constant for only the heights corresponding to, or which are much lesser than the radius of the earth. Now we have to write the kinematics equation. Suppose if a body is dropped from some height h, let's say it falls for time t seconds. Now first thing we have to consider are the direction. Let's say this is my origin over here, and this is my minus direction, this is plus direction. Let's shift origin here. Let's say this is our origin. Now let's say it is dropped with certain velocity u. Let's take downwards. Yes, it's okay. So u is the initial velocity, and we have to find what is v. So v will be u plus at. We already know this, but now v is pointing downwards, so we have to write minus v, and u is also pointing downwards, so this is minus u, and a is also pointing downwards, so minus g into t. So this becomes v is equal to u plus gt. So depending upon conventions, sign conventions, we have to find. Now let's say the displacement is h. Now suppose it comes to the ground, then why it is not going up? Yes. Okay. Yes. So v is u plus gt. Now let's say what is the displacement? Displacement is xf minus xi, that is final position minus initial position. So this is my s. So this will be final position is 0 minus initial position is h, because yes, minus h. So this becomes minus h. So minus h will be minus ut, because u is to be taken towards the downward direction, minus half gt square. So g is pointing downwards. So what is this? H is equal to ut plus half gt square. And similarly v square will be v square, that is the velocity at this origin or at the ground, is equal to u square minus 2gh, because the displacement s is minus h. Now let's do one or two problems. Let's say there is a body which is dropped from a tower of 100 meter from here. Then calculate its velocity when it reaches the ground. Let's say it falls for 2 seconds. Let's say it is dropped, not with a velocity, it is simply dropped, and then find its velocity at the bottom, that is at the ground. So we can use this formula v square. Now first thing we have to consider is that let's take the directions. So let's say downward is positive and upwards is negative, and let's say the top of the tower is our origin. Now h is the displacement s is equal to displacement s is equal to 100 minus 0, because final position is 100 and initial position is 0. So this is 100 meter. Now this is 100 meter is equal to u is 0, so this will be half, so it is in the plus direction only. So let's say this is 10 t square. So this is 5 and this will be 20. So t square is equal to 20. So the time in which this ball comes down is square root of 20 seconds. So in square root of 20 seconds this ball reaches ground. Now consider this problem. Suppose there is an object which is thrown from ground to certain height. Let's say height 400 meter. So at height 400 meter it reaches its maximum height. So this is the maximum height, and that maximum height is 400 meter, and it is thrown, let's say, with a velocity 20 meter per second. Now in how much time this question is similar to the previous. Let's make some change in this. Yes, so let's say a body is projected upwards with a velocity 20 meter per second. Calculate the maximum height that is reached. So now what is the displacement? Let's say this is our origin and this is upward is a positive direction and downwards is negative direction. Now h is equal to s is equal to this height h minus 0, final minus initial position. This equals u. No, we do not have to use this formula. We can use this. V square is equal to u square minus 2gs. Why minus? Because the downward direction is negative and g will be negative over here. So this will be v square is 0, u square is 20 into 20, that is 20 square, minus 2 into 10 into s. S is to be found out. So this becomes 20 into 20 is equal to 20 s. So what is s then? This 20 you can cancel, so s is 20 meter. So the maximum height reached is 20 meter. Let's do one more problem. Suppose there is certain height. From that height the object is dropped. Let's say 400 meter. From 400 meter this body is dropped. Calculate its velocity when it is 200 meter above from the ground. So when it is 200 meter above from the ground, what is its velocity? And also find the time taken to reach the ground. So now let's do this. So now the displacement is 200 meter, and let's say downward direction is positive, upward direction is negative. So now 200 is the displacement and it is in positive direction. So 200 is positive is equal to u is 0, so half into, no, this will be 400 because we have to calculate the time taken to reach the ground. So this is half g t square. So this is 8t because this will be 800 divided by 10 is 80 t square. So 80 is equal to t square. So now this becomes 4 into 20, which is again 16 into 4 into 20. So 420 can be written as 4 into 5. So this is t square. So now t becomes 4 root 5 seconds. So it will take 4 root 5 seconds to reach the ground. And now what is its velocity when it is 200 meter above the ground? So it will be v square is equal to u square plus 2gs h. So now h is 200 meter. So v is to be found out, u is 0 because it is dropped simply, plus 2 into 10 into 200. So this becomes 4000. And take the square root of that, which will be 100 square root is 10 into square root of 40. So this will be 20 square root of 10 meter per second. This is the velocity.